Episode 21, dorm number 13, no more stream sound. No more forest. Just an old row of houses at the corner of the university, dormitory number 13, where all the students whisper to each other, third floor, room at the end of the hallway. There is someone who never leaves, but plays the guitar every night, and that guitar, Kai. It's exactly like the one in the hidden in same cracks. Same broken strings wrapped with red thread. Can't be a coincidence, can't be fake. Lynn, a senior music student, was the first to dare to set foot there. She had dreamed of becoming a musician, but gave up after the death of her brother. The person who taught her to play music, the person who turned every afternoon into a small concert in the sunny kitchen. The room was unlocked. Lynn pushed the door open and saw no one, just the guitar and the unfinished handwritten music. Lynn sat down, put her hands on the keyboard, and suddenly burst into tears. Is it you? As Lynn played the opening bars of the piece, the wind stopped. The room seemed to float, and from the mottled wall, a voice echoed, "Do you remember me? I never forget." She continued playing. That piece of music was Unfinished Dream by Churl Ann. But this time, it had an ending, because every song needs someone who dares to play it to the end, and someone who loves enough to listen. When the song ended, the guitar cracked into shattered, like a goodbye. Later that night, Lynn returned, and the guitar was gone. There was only a red string tied around the door latch. She took it off, tied it around her wrist, and walked out into the hallway where dawn had broken through the clouds. Episode 22, The Crossroads Guardian. There is a place that does not exist on the map. It is not in the middle of the city, nor in the forest. It is a crossroads, where all dreams fork, where all wrong decisions can be rewritten. They call it Silent Station. There was no loudspeaker, no human voice. Only an old man wearing a black cloak, his face half light, half dark, sitting guard at gate number 13. Each person can only enter once to meet another version of themselves, but must choose go back or forget everything. One night, 3 spirits came together. One from the hidden end, one from dormitory number 13, and one never appeared in any story before. The third girl's name is Kai. Yes, it's you, Kai. Don't shy away. She didn't remember how she got here. In her pocket was an old piece of paper with the words, "If you've ever lost a dream, now is the time to find it again or lose it forever. The station opens. 3 gates lead to 3 different dimensions." Kai stepped into gate number 3, and before her eyes was herself, another version, living the life she had dreamed of, but never dared to choose. She was radiant, confident, an artist, a storyteller, a sleepwalker in the crowd, but never lost. Kai looked, then burst into tears. "I buried you somewhere, didn't I?" The other girl nodded, smiling. "It's okay. I'm still here, waiting for the day you remember how to hug yourself again." And when Kai turned around, the old station master asked, "Go back or forget everything?" Kai didn't answer. She just took out a red thread from her pocket, tied it around her hand. She nodded. She walked away. At that moment, all the stories told so far, the souls, the guitars, the rented rooms connected. A new world begins. Episode 23, First Steps in the New World. Kai opened her eyes. The darkness of the station was gone. Before her was another city where everything was both strange and familiar, like a dream mixed with memories. The streets were neither noisy nor deserted. Every corner held an untold story, a silent sound urging her to explore. She walked quickly, carrying the red thread in her hand, like a string connecting to herself. Everyone who passed by smiled as if they recognized her, even though they had never met her. In the roadside mirror, Kai saw not herself, but a series of blurred images, past, present, and future versions of herself. A voice rang softly in her ear. Here, every step is a new chapter. Every turn is an untried choice. Go, Kai. Your dream is waiting for you to master. The city gates had just closed behind her. There was no turning back, only a journey of discovery and healing. Episode 24, Friends from Another Horizon. Walking down the street, Kai first met a guy wearing a purple cloak, his eyes deep as if containing the whole universe inside. His name was Van, the one who holds the key to unlocking forgotten memories. Van did not talk much, but every time he appeared, the surroundings suddenly became strangely quiet, as if everything was waiting for a miracle. Next is a girl with blue hair, smiling brightly, named Lynn. She is a person with healing energy. With just one touch, she can turn pain into strength, turn difficulties into leaps. Lynn always says, life is like the waves of the ocean. We cannot stop it, but we can learn to dance to the rhythm. And finally, a tiny boy with bright eyes named Wood. Wood is the embodiment of curiosity, of the dreams of childhood that never stop flying. He always carries a backpack full of paintbrushes and blank paper, as if this world is a picture waiting to be painted. Episode 25, The Room Without Mirrors. Van led Kai into a tiny alley where the light was just enough to see the way, but not enough to illuminate his face. At the end of the alley was an old, unlocked wooden door. On the door was engraved the words, "Only those who dare to face themselves can enter." Kai knocked lightly. The door opened. Inside was a room filled with nothing but boxes. Hundreds of boxes stacked on top of each other, each tied with a red ribbon. Van said, each box is a memory you chose to forget, not because you were weak, but because at that time, you weren't strong enough to. Hold on to it. Kai looked at the first box. Her hands were shaking slightly. She opened it. Inside was a voice recording. Just one sentence. Dad, wait for me to come home for dinner. Kai's heart felt like someone was squeezing it, she remembered. That day, she came home late from school, and her father died that night. She sat down, saying nothing. Van did not comfort her. He just sat beside her, letting the silence do its work. If you want to keep it, light a candle. If you are ready to let go, put it in your heart and move on. Kai lit the candle, not to hold on, but to remember. She whispered, I'm home, Dad. The candle flickered, then went out. One of the boxes disappeared. In its place grew a pot of white flowers. Van smiled. The most painful memories, when embraced, will become the most beautiful part